You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast for some more IPL action. And if we've got time, maybe a little bit of a county championship corner as well. Hello, Tom Banton, and hello to myself, Jack Hope, and hello to you, Ross Legg. How are you doing, Ross?
Mate, I'm bloody marvellous. I have to be wearing this Sunrisers Hyderabad kit, and they are Sunrisers shit the bed. They are absolutely dreadful in this IPL so far, and I'm looking forward to dissecting just why.
And hello to you, Max Rowe Brown. How are you doing, Max Rowe Brown?
Hello. Yeah, very good, thank you. Really putting the bad in Hyderabad, aren't they? Sunrisers. Let's get them all out of the way. Get all those lovely jokes in.
They are bad. They are bad, and we should be talking about that. Before we get going, if you're watching on YouTube, or listening on Spotify, or listening on whatever the new iTunes is, Apple something or other.
Podcast.
Make sure you click like and subscribe. Doesn't really matter what the platform it is. Click like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Let's get some word of mouth going. And why don't you sign up as a Patreon, patreon.com/the Cricket Pod, if you want to keep us going. Thanks to the guys who are all of that. Max, let's just jump into some cricket. Sometimes we do long intros. I'm not doing that today.
Right.
Sunrisers, Gujarat Titans. This was their comeback game. This is when they should have turned their season around. What happened?
The Washington Sundar Derby.
Yeah, it was. Well, we Jack and I thought that maybe it was going to be Mohammad Siraj losing his mind because he hates Travis Head after the BGT and getting blasted. But no, I guess it was Washington Sundar coming back to haunt his old employers. Sunrisers Hyderabad batted first, and abysmal Sheikh Sharma, not very good. Travis Dickhead, rubbish. I wish Kishan was any good. Terrible. Nitish Kumar, he's not ready. Heinrich, not so class on. You get the picture. Power play wickets again. I mean, we've seen it so many times. 4 times, in fact, so far this IPL. Sunrisers faltering with the bat. Maybe a couple of people threatening to go on, but not really getting there. On what was, perhaps maybe a trickier pitch than normal as well in Hyderabad. There was a bit of turn, causing some issues. But despite all that, it was Mohammad Siraj who came away with the plaudits. He focused his hatred of Travis Head correctly to walk away with 4 for 17, his best figures. And it was always going to be a fairly simple chase. There were a couple of early wickets though. Pat Cummins and Mohammad Shami grabbed one apiece early to remove 2 of the holy trinity of the Gujarat Titans. But Washington Sundar, the 4th member of the holy trinity, came and saw it home before Shafane Rutherford put some nice gloss on it. Other notable things was we got to see about 5 minutes of Glenn Phillips.
Good. That's good. That is a good thing. I've got a couple more, Max.
Yep.
Onket Verma.
Nice.
Not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cannot do Mendes. Pat, come on, man. Simranjeet Singh it gets a little bit difficult there, doesn't it? Let's just call him a park cricketer. And
Simranjeet, time for the fat lady to sing.
Yeah, not bad.
Mohammad Shami's already got Sham in his name, so
No, Mohammad Shami.
Yeah. I don't know with Sunrisers. I mean, I kind of want to say that the bowling's pants because it is, but that really obviously is not the story. Is it? It was interesting, Ross, wasn't it? Sunrisers Hyderabad, they've got their game plan. It's try and bash 250, and if that doesn't work, we'll probably get 190 trying. It was very successful last year. It looked like that's what they were doing this year. They had a few games where it maybe didn't quite come off. And then they sort of produced this, which was, there wasn't really a lot of bashing going on, was it? I mean, I get it. The pitch was a little bit difficult. Gujarat, one of the better bowling teams in the tournament. But have they bottled it? Have they gone away from the template here, or is this just a team I'm loath to say it because I don't really believe in the concept, who are out of form.
Ooh. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! They haven't got enough clutch players, Jack. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Um,
No confidence.
yeah. They're England, aren't they? This is what the Sunrisers Hyderabad
They're not
team are.
England. England would
They're-
have bashed
no.
it and not been bowled out for 120.
I think this team has got all the hallmarks of an England T20 approach. They've got one plan only, and today they got undone. They come up against a better team today. But I'm going to start with I think that Sunrisers being hard done by in this IPL so far, gents. I think the schedule is unfair on Sunrisers. And it makes a mockery of an IPL tournament or any tournament where you've got one team who's already played 5 games and there are multiple teams that have only played 3 games. I think it's a farce. And I think when you've got a team like Sunrisers having to play kind of regular, and being a Spurs fan, obviously going from Europa League to being awful in the Premier League back to being awful in any other competition, I kind of get what they're struggling with at the moment. They can't seem to find a rhythm. They could do with a bit of a break and a bit of respite, but the schedule hasn't allowed them to do that. And they've played more games than anybody else thus far. This is the 4th game they've lost on the bounce, and it's pretty terrible times for them. The approach.
That's also a very England excuse as well, just to add to the the analogy.
It seems a little bit unfair on them at this point in time. But today, I think you're right, Jack, that there was a little bit of trepidation in the ranks. I think Gujarat are one of the best teams in the tournament. I said that in the preview show. I think they're, if not the best team coming up against them. But they also did have Ishant Sharma to face. He went for 50 odd runs out of his 4 overs. So at least they had a bit of charity for them. But
it was nice I think it was nice of Gujarat to give them a chance. Like they saw that Sunrisers were struggling. Yeah, maybe they saw the schedule was difficult and they were like,
"Here you go, have a third of your runs."
It would be wrong for us to pick 4 overseas players here. We could pick Gerald Kurtzer, and we'd crush you. So we're going to pick the ghost of Ishant Sharma, instead. Not only that, we're going to open the bowling with him, and we're going to
4
use
overs.
him to death. Like we're going to bowl him out.
And like Rashid Khan's, he's knackered, isn't he? Rashid Khan, I've got him in my fantasy team on the IPL Discord or the Cricket Podcast Discord and the IPL Fantasy, and it's a disaster, absolute disaster. You can't take a wicket, can't buy a wicket here. But yeah, this Sunrisers team, this Sunrisers, the fact that you've got Kamindu cannot do Mendes kind of in the middle order.
What was that all about?
Like
that's an astonishing selection.
Well, that's the second time in a row they've done it as well.
I don't. It's not Kamindu Mendes' fault.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. But it's classic Sunrisers, isn't it? It's you've got a squad of 24 or 25, and they're not picking the best 11.
But he should be. I mean, there's no way to put this. He should be absolutely nowhere near the IPL, let alone an IPL playing 11. This is a guy. He's the guy who bowls left arm, right arm spin. So he's got a party trick, and that's it. That's the only positive thing about him is he does one thing a little bit weird. He doesn't bowl either of them well, but he can do it.
He can do it.
Yeah. This is a guy in the Lankan Premier League, the absolute bastion of the genius cricket worldwide. This year he went at 10 and over, didn't take a wicket.
Good.
Went at 10 and over. He's
what about his
round
batting?
Number 7. His batting in the Lankan Premier League actually wasn't too bad. I mean, it was perfectly acceptable. In his career, though, it's not great. Averages 25, strike rate of 128. That's especially listeners as well.
That's domestic batting numbers, isn't it?
Exactly. Like they're his domestic batting numbers. That's at a level far below the IPL. What did he get? 1 or 5 balls? I mean, like that's well within the range of expected possibilities. And then his bowling was absolute garbage at this standard. You got Adam Zampa. Like play him. Play any of the other guys you've got.
Yeah, and if you
I
think
don't
that
know.
Adam
Sunrise
Zampa
has
has
gone
been
wrong.
too expensive, then pick. Well, they've already started picking Zishan Ansari, haven't they? But pick him and then another batter. I know. Just Kamindu Mendes is not the answer to why was Sunrisers Hyderabad not performing in the first 3 games. How can we turn this around? The answer to that categorically is not Kamindu Mendes. There's some more questions that some franchises have been asking weirdly this weekend, which we'll come to later, where they've been bringing up some bonkers answers. But yeah, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, the fact they even picked him up in the first place is insane. But when I saw him in the squad, I just discounted him as even featuring once.
Right, wow. Oh, you'd be a good, useful net bowler, wouldn't it? Instead of having instead of having to find a right arm spinner and a left arm spinner, that's one seat on the plane. Like he can do. That's it.
Well,
I mean, that's the positive.
Yeah, I mean, it is just very depressing that, I mean, me as a Rajasthan Royals fan, the only time they've gone off is against Rajasthan Royals this season in the first instance, which is pretty brutal. But look, this is also the problem that you see, like, there's no, like, IPL is very, very high variance, as we well know. And so you can't just jettison and change your team every single game. You have to have a core set of players. You're like, right, we're going to trust in the skill set. And within the live chat at the moment, Abraham has highlighted that, Adam Zampa is terrible this season. He's only played 3 games. Like you've got to give one of the world's best leg spinners a pretty decent opportunity and a good run in the team. The fact they picked up Vian Mulder and was just like, oh, this might be a good backup. No, it's bad roster creation.
He's actually only played 2 games.
Oh, there you go.
He wasn't good enough.
It's because Vian Mulder had to come in to bat as an impact batter, didn't he, in one of the previous games?
I mean, just as a counterpoint, just quickly, just as a quick counterpoint to the Zampa point. Imagine if Rajasthan Royals had dropped Jofra Archer after his first game. Because that's the same thinking, you know? Like they wouldn't have their best bowler. Like they wouldn't have won their last 2 matches. Like it's we're talking about a player who look, and today it isn't really about the bowling, but this is a more general point about some bad decision making. If you think that Kamindu Mendes brings more to the table than Adam Zampa, then you have a problem. Like that's the point we're trying to make. And if you think that because Adam Zampa didn't bowl well in 2 matches, you should get rid of him, drop him from your team, then you similarly, you have a problem. And if you think that Vignesh is a better bowler or an equivalent bowler, you have a problem.
It's so Sunrisers though, isn't it? It's so Sunrisers.
It's like, old Sunrisers. Yeah,
like it is on paper they've got such a strong team, and yet they're deciding not to put out their strongest 11 or 12 with an impact sub.
Max, you were going to say something before I just shouted.
Well, I was just going to say, like Ross said, it was bad roster creation, but we were talking about when we did the previews. So we were like, well, look, this is a good side, like maybe even better than last year, and so they've obviously done something right with getting their team together. Obviously, I guess retaining the right people was half of it, but I think it's it's as much just like you were saying, Jack, just I don't know, knee-jerk reactions, not thinking about, not having a plan B, I guess, because things didn't quite go to plan. They, I don't know, doubled down a bit, still didn't go to plan, and then plan B was throw all the cards up in the air and see which ones land face up on the table. And unfortunately, the wrong ones did.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, I don't think they played the 11 that I think everyone thought they would play.
No,
maybe they did it in the first match. And then since then it's
in the one they won.
Kind of been a bit weird. What I would say, I mean, right, from a Sunrisers point of view, like they are making some bad decisions. Like that is true. The other thing you have to acknowledge is that Head and Sharma have massively underperformed. What you would expect from them, and that is going to be a problem for a team that play like this. Like it's going to be a problem for any team. I mean, like if
best players aren't playing very well, you're in trouble.
Yeah, if Gill and Siddharthan had 10 runs between them for the whole season, Like Gujarat Titans would have won
It's
one
just-
out of 4 matches.
It's just
one out of
cricket,
five.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Cricket is a game of a bunch of individuals, and if your individuals aren't doing it properly, doesn't you
Fine,
can
but
you can do whatever you like with the right team and tactics. Doesn't matter.
By my calculations, they've got 20 people on their roster. I think they've already played 17 of them within the first 5 games.
Nice.
That,
Yeah.
Do you get
that-
bonus points at the end for like giving everyone a go?
Well, Punjab Kings thought that a few years ago, didn't they? When they
Is that how you get on the fair play tape?
They played 24 out of 25 players that season.
Someone is saying that Mendes is actually an elite bowler. Like I watched it. I have eyes. I saw what he did. Like it's just not an elite cricketer.
There's no Manish Singh must be like related to Kamandu Mendes. There's no chance he's elite. But on the flip side, Gujarat Titans. That's a good cricket team. That is a good cricket team that are coming up against. Mohammad Siraj, very good bit of form that he's in at the moment. Lottery Krishna, the dice came out good for him today. Sai Kishore is showing Rashid Khan up in this tournament so far. Is that a problem of longevity, Max? There, like what's going on with Rashid Khan? Is the injury coming back to haunt him, and he's just not the player he was a couple of years ago? What's going on there?
Jack and I talked about this on Friday a fair bit. I think we were just we're in the Rashid Khan's got a bad back camp, and he's taking his time to get back into things. And doesn't matter because Shaw's doing the heavy lifting at the moment, so it's all right. If Rashid Khan does get himself back firing by the back end of the tournament, then it's looking quite tasty, isn't it?
The other question I've got is: should we, as a podcast, have a award that we add to our to our predictions, or just our end of IPL season for worst impact sub contribution? Because I feel like we should. Simajit Singh today, very bad contribution.
Not great.
There's quite a lot of bad contributions. I mean, like if you're not a lot of impacts of. It's not always the case. Some teams have
throughout
quite strong
history
impact subs.
a number of golden ducks.
Wasn't there? Didn't Devil Breakfast do that 2 games in a row? Or am I misremembering that slightly? It's possible. I mean, I know he did it once. There have been a number of golden ducks. I think as well with impact subs. So most teams, it's either the worst player on the team, or it's quite a. There tends to be 2 schools of thought. You do a swap of an absolute gun batter for an absolute gun bowler, or you do kind of what Sunrisers Hyderabad have done here, which is like, who is our 6th best bowler? Let's bring them in.
Or it's your weakest fielder or your oldest man.
yeah, it's a combination of those 2 things. But yeah, I'm not absolutely sure. What's the question? If Simajit Singh is the answer, is the who's the worst impact sub?
Yeah. Right, I'm going to dispute Samir's comment in the live chat. There's no way.
What is the comment? You have to read that out first.
Somehow, all of us, including Jack, Ross, and Max, always end up underestimating Gujarat Titans. I think that's true. I think this year we said they were going to be all right. I think they were going to be all right. They've got a bloody good lineup. What we did, I will admit to this. I did not see a Washington Sundar innings like this happening. But we did say the only way he was going to actually justify his position in Gujarat Titans lineup is by batting in the top 4. And actually, he's come in today and played an absolute blinder. 49 off of 29 deliveries, 2 sixes, 5 fours. It was a great innings. And Shafane Rutherford backing that up after Joss Butler failed.
Can we have a moment for Rahul Tewatia as well? What a fantastic mascot he is. Just cruises around. He scored 6 runs in 4 matches. He feels
undroppable.
He really bad. Yeah, undroppable. It's at some point something's going to happen with him. I'm sure of it. But what it will be, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's good. Good, they are decent, Ross. I mean, to go back to your point, I feel like we didn't. I think we gave them about the credit that they were due. They're going to be reliant on their top 3. If you're going to be relying on a top 3. They're 3
good ones
pretty
to have.
good. Yeah, it's it's definitely a thing that could work, and it has been working so far. Like I expect at some point this season they'll play a couple of games back to back where all three of them fail or only one of them comes off, and we'll be like, oh, is there a weakness here? Like that probably will happen to a team like this. But it's a good start to the season, isn't it? They're in a good place. Good bowling.
Akshat has raised a good point in the live chat. Can anyone give me a valid reason for playing Sharad Khan over Glenn Phillips? They are already playing 3 overseas players at the moment, right? And giving themselves a bit of flexibility on the impact sub. It is an interesting approach.
They only played 2, and then they had an impact sub.
There you
go. They literally made the call that Ishant Sharma was better than Kurtzia, or that Sharad Khan is better than Glenn Phillips. Like, you have to think at basically both of those things, don't you, to pick the team that they have, and that is a bit weird. Like, but
it's working.
If you're playing a team that do what Sunrisers did today, it doesn't matter.
That is very true.
Anything else, Max? You haven't said much about this game. Give us one more final thought to sum it up.
No. Well, maybe release height. Maybe release height is the thing with Ishant Sharma. Maybe. Oh no, it's Sunrisers that are England, isn't it? Not Gujarat. Yeah, but look, I mean, it was. It's just we've seen it before. This game, this IPL, Sunrisers stuffed it up. I mean, I suppose the only thing was, like, did they have a sniff at any point, Sunrisers? I mean, it looked, after those couple of early wickets and the power play, Gujarat didn't get off to a great start. I thought, maybe they could tie things up. Maybe if there was any chance at all that Sunrisers could have done something unexpected with the ball, the combination of Washington Sundar and a little bit of Dew took that away. Or is that just clutching at straws for anything to say that this wasn't a total pasting back to front?
I do think it's just a massive. Yeah, there's just a massive drop off as well, right? If you've got Mohammad Shami Cumdog opening up, then you bring on Simrajit Singh, then your next option is Unadkat. Like, it's not really an elite bowling lineup that you've got, right? They're literally not even picking Adam Zampa, and I know that we'll get some pelters in the chat for that. That's fine, but it just seems to me they're not picking their best 11 at the moment, and that's always going to bring trouble. I think they did have a chance, Max, kind of highlighting it, but they did not have the minerals to sort it out.
I mean, arguably they could play their best team and they still wouldn't be winning, because if they're, their top 3 is not doing the business, they haven't got a chance.
Yeah, and that, especially if Klaasen also doesn't. Look, we're going to take a break. That's enough Sunrisers. Looks going to be a long way back. Max, I think we said they needed to win 7 out of 10. Now they need to win 7 out of 9.
They need to do an RCB, is what they need to do.
It's pretty tough. Could happen, but it's pretty tough. We'll take a break. Then we shall come back and we will talk Rajasthan Royals v the Punjab Kings of Comedy.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Cricket Podcast. We're about to talk about Rajasthan Royals v Punjab Kings, which is going to be fun. Max, we did like a 2-minute preview of this game, didn't we? And we both said, if you're ever going to back Punjab Kings, now's the time. They're playing Rajasthan Royals. Rajasthan Royals don't look very good. Punjab Kings, they do look good. Their captain's in form. Everything's coming down Punjab. What happened? How have they done this? Why is it always them?
Well, look, it was Grand National Weekend, right? So you put some money down and you often lose, and that's what we did, Jack. We didn't put any money down, but we did lose. We just spoke about a team and their top 3 and how it's not firing, and that means they're going to lose. Rajasthan Royals, not far off, I suppose, in terms of that team makeup. If their top 3 fires, they might win the game, and that's kind of what happened. Jaiswal and Samson scored some runs. Rian Parag also scored some runs. Finally, and then a little bit of Dhruv Jurel at the end saw, and Shimron Hetmeyer, but you just sort of take that as given at this point, don't you? He scored 20-ish off not very many balls, and 205 for 4 Rajasthan got up to, which was pretty solid. First time that 200 had been scored at the at that ground in the IPL. So we were told, and then Jofra Archer remembered how to bowl. He finished with 3 for 25. He cleaned up Priyansh Ara. He also cleaned up Shreyas Iyer with what has to go down as one of the worst shots in the history of cricket. And despite a game effort from Nel Wadera again, and Glenn Maxwell, who made it almost look like it was possible for Punjab at some point to turn things around, they did not. They were out, and the game was over.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Ross, Jofra Archer, is he back? Is he properly back?
I'm not sure. We have to see the season out. Like so far, he's had he had a great album right before. Like literally, like everyone loved his previous work when he was just coming on the scene. It was a bit fresh, a bit new. He's won the Mercury Prize, and now he's come back, and it's a difficult kind of third or fourth album for him. And the first track on it, awful. Like absolutely.
There was also that bit where he had to go to rehab in the middle, wasn't there? So you're not sure what the headspace is like. Is he going to go off some like real deep end of kind of esoteric?
Yeah. He's done a bit of a trance track. It didn't land very well with his fans, but he's gone back to what he does best. Right? He's got some fast tempo folk music, and he's fucking ripped it.
Folk music.
Up tempo folk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uptown funk. That's what we're going for. And he did really. Look, it was Jofra looking lethal. It was him very much at his best, and he was bowling quick. And yeah, when someone like Shreyas Iyer has been a decent touch as well. Shreyas Iyer looked like he'd never played cricket before against him. Jack, how do you describe the shot that Shreyas Iyer was playing?
I think this is the definition of getting high on your own supply. Shreyas Iyer played maybe shot of the tournament, the ball before. I think it was literally the ball before, might have been 2 balls before. Like a drive on the up, basically off the bails, off stump. Beautiful cricket shot. And then I think basically, you get it in, like I'm going to compare it to like children's cricket. You get in children's cricket, occasionally like a child will hit a 6. And then they just think they're Superman.
I've solved cricket.
There's literally no way I can be out now. I just hit a 6. And then like they're immediately out. And that was kind of what happened here. I think he was like, I must be so good to have done that. And fair play, it's true. Like you must be so good to play the shot that Shreyas Iyer played, the over the top cover drive, like maybe the hardest shot to play. And then you kind of you do that and you let it all go. I think Joff looked really good. I mean, I think he might even look better in the game before. Like it's his last 7 overs, 4 for 38. Very, very small sample size. Very, very small. But definitely, if you're a Rajasthan Royals fan, you're liking what you're seeing from Joff. Like it's probably more than you expected to get. I think over the last 2 matches.
Well, what I'm very much liking is the fact that Rajasthan Royals have stopped pissing about with the batting lineup and just started to play a normal cricket team. Like Shimron Hetmeyer, as the overseas batter, should be coming in at 5. They didn't promote Hasaranga to do that because Hasaranga can't bat as previously seen. And it's actually worked out quite nicely. Like this was a grown-up approach to Rajasthan Royals. They finally put their big boy trousers on, and Jice will finally hit some runs. It was just a game where they had better cricketers than Punjab Kings, and Punjab probably did that thing where they've probably not quite picked their best 11 because they need to kind of rotate kind of a couple of people. Fair enough, but yeah, I think it was a pretty clinical performance from Rajasthan. So I'm glad that my pink boys are doing all right.
It was back to it was the Rajasthan that we kind of expected, I think, when we first looked at the teams for the previews. It was like the top 6 actually pretty decent, and then there's absolutely no batting after that whatsoever. And this was in a game where they batted first and therefore put out their best batting lineup, and it ended at 6. So like that's the problem. But obviously the flip side was if the batting comes off, then they've got some proper players, and they will do well. And there will be days where Rajasthan Royals bat well and win games because they've got runs in their locker and some decent options with the ball to back it up. Not enough across 20 overs, I wouldn't think. But if Jofra Archer bowls like that, and Hasaranga looked pretty dangerous at times, and Theekshana was looking good as well, then it can all come together. But I still don't think it's enough to come together regularly. What do you reckon?
I think it's going to be difficult for them. I think you're right, Max. There's always a hole in the side. Like Yudhvir Singh should not be opening the bowling for Rajasthan Royals. But that just should not be kind of in the makeup of this 11, unfortunately for them. But if Jaiswal and Samson can put together a good run of form, which is not beyond them, right? They are two of the best domestic talent batters in the tournament, if not two of the best batters in the tournament. I think they can work quite nicely. And Hasaranga seems to have got a bit of his juices back. Theekshana looked much better. And then Jofra Archer, that's 12 pretty decent overs that are both attacking the right-handers and the left-handers. And then you just need the supporting cast to not be awful. And Sandeep Sharma is no mug. Sandeep Sharma is one of the highest wicket takers in the IPL history, right? He is a very, very competent player. So, it's just that final piece of the jigsaw. But I think a lot of teams also have that problem. So I think that there's a competitive nature to them. They lost 2 on the bounce, and now 1-2 on the bounce. Like, it's looking up for the Pink boys.
Yeah, which one of these two do you think is most likely to make the playoffs, Ross?
I think it's a difficult. I think that the Punjab Kings team on paper, from a bowling perspective, looks a little bit stronger, but Yuzi Chahal is having a tough time of things at the moment. Like a couple of the leg spinners are struggling a little bit, but Arshdeep Singh is he's the best left arm fast bowler in the competition. Janssen is also a bloody good left arm bowler. Lockie Ferguson offers raw pace with his black trainers on. Glenn Maxwell, good matchup bowler. Yuzi Chahal is kind of letting the team down. But there's no way Punjab should be giving 4 overs to Marcus Stoinis. Like that shouldn't.
Last over was kind of calamitous, wasn't it?
Like that just shouldn't be that part. And again, so it's a similar story to the Sunrisers. I think they've got all the ingredients to have a really good 11 or 12, but they're just missing that one bit for which Ponting is not quite getting right. So I think at the moment, these two teams are probably the best they can hope for is kind of that shootout for 5th and 6th, and then hope that run rate or something like that gets them through to the kind of playoffs. So
it is a kind of a weird team that Punjab have, isn't it? Like it's not like, I'm not saying weird in a bad way. I'm saying weird in a like, they really, really must rate Stoinis and Maxwell as a combination of bowlers, and they really must think that they need Suryan Shedge at like 7 or 8 for them. But like a specialist number, they've got a specialist number 8 basically. Like what's
that is the sticks out like a sore thumb.
Why
doesn't it, Suryan Shedge?
I'm just sort of like, why do they think they need that? Not.
Josh English is not playing, right? So. Harpreet Brah's not playing. Harpreet Brah's a pretty decent player. Right.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, anything, are you?
They need a wicket keeper. Is that what you're saying? Is that the?
No, I just think like again,
that is true.
Yeah, but I guess their biggest Stoinis purely on the fact that he can bat and English can't bowl. Do you know what I mean? So Stoinis can do batting and bowling, but I'm not sure they should be using him in the way in which they used him here. So
he's not their wicketkeeper. What am I talking about? Like, this is what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. Like, if you decide to go with Shedge at 8, bear in mind you've got Marco Janssen, who's perfectly acceptable. Like, it's not. That's not. You're not upset if he comes in at number 8 for your cricket team.
It's like, very unlikely that the person you've picked to bat number 8 is going to be the difference between you winning and losing a game of cricket.
Yeah,
be honest.
But like it is. You're going to lose. You are going to lose cricket matches because Glenn Maxwell and Stoinis have to bowl lots of overs for you.
Yeah.
And I think that is. It's not necessarily the reason they lose this match, but it probably will be why they lose matches this season.
Yeah,
Interesting
especially when
about
you've got the bonus of Nelbadera being really good at cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where I quite liked Omazai as Matt Omazai in the team. I think he's a better bowler than Stoinis.
How many overseas do you want?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they're picking the right overseas, Jack.
Oh,
That's,
right.
that's the point I'm getting at. I'm not going down your is Shedge a wicket keeper or not, because he's clearly not a fucking wicket keeper. Then you have that little mad moment. That's fine. But I just again not quite sure they're playing the right 11. But
No,
it's
I
a
want
long
more. I want more Vishak. I want more Vishak bowling ridiculous wide full tosses. That's what the IPL needs. None of this Shedge
Look.
nonsense. They're shedging their bets. That's the problem.
Oh, all right. That's enough of that. Look, people will be waiting for us to get to CSK and Dhoni.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a break, and then we will get to CSK and Dhoni. Stick with us. It'll be a good conversation. Lots of enlightening information.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Welcome back to the Cricket Podcast. Can we have a quick Shedge watch? I'm worried that I've done him dirty.
Garden Shedge.
In his T20 career, which is short, 12 matches, he's batted 10 times, strike rate of 237. You're taking that, aren't you? So
Yeah.
maybe
What's
they
his
really
bowling
do
like,
need
though?
Shedge. It's not great. Like, we don't need to worry about the bowling. Maybe they really do need Shedge. That's jury's out. Maybe they should let him bat. Maybe if you've got an absolute weapon like that. Maybe it's that he's only faced about 50 balls ever in professional cricket, and we still need to see what
And
happens.
they were all in his back garden.
Yeah, but
he
apparently he does put the fans on the Shedge of their seats. So
God.
Good.
Right, look, let's get on to the CSK game. Max, you called this right. You pretty
did.
much predicted exactly what would happen in this match.
Yeah.
Do you want to just play a clip of your prediction, or do you want to talk us through what actually happened?
Yeah, if we could. It's nice, isn't it? Every now and then it comes up my way. Not a lot else so far this tournament has come up my way, but this particular game did. And it was the first win for Delhi Capitals in Chennai against CSK since 2010. 15 years we've been waiting for a moment like this, and it's come along. It didn't look great to start with. Jake Freeman and Girk out early to Khalil Ahmed, but that only meant Abhishek Parel came to join. King legend, who between them put on a pretty good partnership to get things back on track. Akshar Patel, Samir Rizvi, Tristan Stubbs all came and went, but with useful contributions to back up KL Rahul's 77. He was back top of the order, replacing the not quite fit Faf du Plessis. And 183 for 6 is what they ended on. So, not mammoth total, but it's Chennai, lads. So it's decent and would take some chasing. CSK, on the other hand, well, we were discussing SRH and their tinkering with their lineup, and we were questioning whether, what questions you're asking if answers are certain players. What question are you asking if the answer to your problems is Mukesh Chowdhury? I think maybe the question is, how do we make sure we lose a game of cricket? I don't know. But you think those 50 runs that he conceded might have made a difference in terms of the chase, because CSK couldn't really get things going. Conway was in and out in the fashion that we're accustomed to in recent months. Ravindra biffed one back to, well, not biffed, poked one back to Mukesh Kumar. Gaikwad went. Vijay Shankar scored the most painful 69 you could ever wish to endure. Shivam Dubey didn't do the business.
You can't say that as a sentence.
I bloody well can, and I bloody well will. And basically CSK did what they've done so far in this tournament. not bat particularly well, and then score a few boundaries when the game's gone. Everyone gets a look at MS Dhoni and goes home happy because they've spent some money on their ticket and they got to see Dhoni bat. So they might be losing, but at least they're getting Dhoni time, and that's about all CSK fans have got to look forward to at the moment because they're playing like crap.
I've got 3 things from this game. 1, that we definitely need to touch on, KL Rahul's hair. 2, Mukesh Chowdhury's hilarious drop. And 3, Fleming was right. He said that Dhoni can't bat for 10 overs. Dhoni came in and showed that he can't bat for 10 overs. Like, it's...
You've got to know your players, haven't you?
Yeah, like, bad. CSK, Ross.
Well, my position to start with is their bowling plans are all over the shop, and for a team that's normally pretty good at like construction of innings and having matchups and all this kind of stuff, the fact Noor Ahmed has been the bowler of the season so far for me, been absolutely brilliant. Only comes away bowling 3 overs here. Max's pick to be MVP for the tournament in Ravi Jadeja comes away from only bowling 2 overs in this. Ravichandran Ashwin only bowls 3 overs, whereas Mukesh Chowdhury gets all 4 of his. Like that, to me, is a dereliction of duty from Gaikwad leading the boys in yellow. And it's a very, very difficult thing to justify, I think.
I'm glad you picked up on Jadeja as my pick for MVP, Ross, because you'll notice in this game that of the 6 wickets that CSK took, Jadeja was involved in half of them. So he's doing a lot of heavy lifting for this CSK side.
Yeah, well, Max, I'm just trying to fluff you up, just ahead of talking about Vijay Shankar's 69.
Indeed.
I think actually a lot of credit has to go to this Delhi Capitals batting lineup. I thought KL Rahul did an absolute classic KL Rahul. I think he was on 25 of 21 balls, and then actually got to do what he should typically do. Right, he got to be the classically selfish King legend. And if you let him if you let him do that, he's always going to hit runs. Like, the guy is excellent at doing those things. And Jack, what's your verdict on the hair?
That's great.
I was going to say, like, that's a glow up. That's another.
It's another example in a long line of Indian cricketers getting really good hair.
I like
Mohammad Shami's hair agent. I don't know.
Tilak Varma looks like he's been kind of transposed. It looks like, like is it Snake out of The Simpsons?
Elvis. I think as well the beard, which must be uncomfortably hot in Chennai, like that. You don't want like a mid-length beard, and then have to bat for an hour and a half in Chennai. Unless I guess you're KL Rahul, in which case you'd do it with style.
Maybe with the beard, you're concentrating a lot of sweat onto your chin, and as you run up and down the wicket, it's like dew, but from your face. Stops gripping so much.
What?
Ideal for Chennai conditions, I think. Just letting it slick up a bit more. That's perhaps like the way forward.
Dew, but for your face.
Yeah, don't know.
Okay. Delhi 3 wins 3.
Yeah. Delhi look good. Delhi look all right. Their bowling lineup's not being awful. It's been a little bit more reliable than we thought it was going to be. Vippy boy, what do you think of Vippy boy?
It's a big tick.
Yeah, I don't know about a big tick. It's a tick. Like, it's not the worst bowler we've seen.
Definitely not the worst bowler on display this game.
Oh, it's a bit like saying, "What do you think of milk?" Like, it's it's all right in coffee. Like,
well, actually, I think you'll find. I know some people have some very, very strong feelings about milk, like actively disgusted by people drinking glasses of milk, kind of feelings. So,
well, look, we all know weirdos, don't we? I don't know. I just wasn't expecting to come on the podcast and be asked a question about a guy who has taken 3 wickets with an economy rate of 10. Like, it's
welcome to the cricket podcast, mate.
He's been there. Like, I didn't think that would be the key talking point for Delhi Capitals. Like,
I mean, the main thing
for prepared on the hair.
He's called Vippy, right?
Yeah. So Max, you're a big CSK fan. Was it sad to see Dhoni struggle the way in which he did?
It was. I mean, he'll take some solace out of the fact that it wasn't just him struggling. You know, a man with the class of Vijay Shankar also struggling with the bat will give him some crumbs of comfort. But it's it's getting more and more as the season moves on. Like CSK are maybe carrying a relic in their side, and for you're not going to drop him. It's MS Dhoni, but the role that he has played in the last couple of seasons, I guess, has been coming in with 5 balls left and actually doing a pretty good job of hitting a couple for 6. And the way that CSK have played this year has meant that has not been the case, and that's kind of exposing the I don't know the lack of options they have with how they can use Dhoni. I mean, his keeping's been decent, but there's no issue there, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit painful to watch at times, but I think it's as much a symptom of CSK just being a bit crap with the bat at the moment as as anything to do with Dhoni. But you do have to question whether that's a useful thing to have in your batting lineup, someone who you need to send in with only 2 overs left if you want to actually use them properly, because it's not really working when the rest of your middle order is failing as it is. You're switching between Vijay Shankar and Deepak Hooda and can't work out which one of them is the least bad option.
Or Tripathi.
Tripathi jettisoned, Sam Curran discarded like yesterday's leftovers. There's too much tinkering going on, I think, with CSK. It's gone wrong a couple of times, and they've decided that the way to fix it is by, I don't know, like they're playing Football Manager and they're going to try new tactics every 10 minutes in the game to see what works. And bringing in okay, fine, Conway and Ravindra opening, I can see the logic in terms of tricky pitches and getting off to an okay start, but if that means you then have to play Mukesh Chowdhury, that is so not worth it, right? Get Gaikwad opening again. That's what he did for the last 4 years and was mint. Why are you changing that? It's just muddled thinking. They're overthinking it, and it's showing in the teams they're playing. I'm surprised so far they haven't tried Ravi Ashwin at 4, because that's probably about the only thing left, and might not even be a terrible idea at this point, the way things are going. They want to hide Shivam Dubé from the power play. That much is obvious, right? The Shivam Dubé's best results are hitting spin in the middle overs, and that's what happens in the Chipawk, and that's like a trump card that CSK can play whenever someone comes to the Chipawk. But the way they've been batting has meant that he's been in too early. They're playing like they want some ballast up the top. Do the Ravi Ashwin thing. Why not? Show Rajasthan Royals what they're missing. There's things they can do that don't involve completely wholesale change of the side and picking people who are just genuinely not good enough.
Yeah, and that's not what the brand of CSK is all about, right? Stability, reliance, that kind of stuff, right? But they are unfortunately turning into not serious people, as Brian Cox would say on Succession. They've lost 3 on the bounce now, but Delhi looking good, and we weren't sure about Delhi at the start. There was a little bit of a boom and bust, etc. But actually, they look like a decent unit. And with Faf coming out of the side, actually didn't make any impact really to the team whatsoever. So that's also
you're almost looking at the side and thinking Faf comes back in, and old Fraser McGurk drops out, and you keep King Legend at the top and leave it how it is.
We said in our previews. Well, we said in the previews, right? They have to get KL batting. There's no point him coming in at 5 or 6. He has to be either opening up or at 3. Has to be there, and he's got to prove why here. It will cost them a game, though. Let's be fair on that. KL will be selfish, and it will cost them a game where his strike rate isn't good enough.
Yeah, but it's important for my orange cap pick that happens.
Fair enough. Anyway, should we preview the next couple of games?
We'll do a quick championship corner. The county championship is underway. Lots of games.
And it's bloody hot in England, isn't it? So there's loads of runs.
9 games, loads of runs. We've got results. Hampshire beating Yorkshire. Derbyshire, they win. Leicestershire, they win. Kent won a game for God knows how long in the championship. Probably the biggest thing, though, was the absolutely mammoth innings. 371 runs off only 403 balls for Tom Banton, ex of KKR for our Indian listeners. Max, will he be replacing Ollie Pope in the test lineup in 1 month, 2 months' time?
Almost certainly, yeah. It's like, it feels nailed on, doesn't it? He had quite a good year last year in the Blast, and he scored that ridiculous innings. Obviously, I'm aware of it because it was against Surrey when I think he pulled his hamstring. He basically couldn't walk and single-handedly won the game for Somerset when Surrey had brought in Shakib, and there was all that furore about that, and Surrey kind of decided they went a bit. They got their way deserved, really, the way they approached the game. They went a bit negative. So, off the back of a pretty good season last year, couldn't really ask for a better way to start this one. But I mean, it's exactly the kind of thing you can see England doing, isn't it? Like, he scores a couple of big innings like that. You think, that's what I want in my side: someone who can win a game, not someone who's going to score
371.
Someone's just going to score 371 once and then 10 for the next 2 years. I don't know if that reminds you of anyone in the England side.
I can't believe you've just said that. It's been a very rogue show from you. Exactly the sort. You can't be sarcastic about that. He's got 371 runs in 400 balls, and you're like, "Oh, I'm not sure about that. Maybe we should."
That wasn't quite what I was going for.
Time.
I was just suggesting that it reminds me of Zach Crawley and how he's played for England. So I think if he has like a half decent showing for the next few weeks, I reckon he's got a pretty good shout of just a random call up. Because I mean, there's some questions in the middle order, aren't there? There's been people in and out. Like I don't know if he'll end up playing, but getting into the squad. Also, he's a wicket keeper, and if there's one thing we know that England like in their squad, it is multiple wicket keepers, and then having Ollie Pope keep wicket for no clear reason.
Probably my favourite thing about this innings, Banton he batted for ages, like
8 hours, 9 hours.
If you work it out, it's about 45 balls a minute. 45 balls a minute. Wow, 45 balls an hour. He hit 56 for 4. So, like, more than an hour of this game, like about an hour and a quarter of this game, was just Tom Banton bashing fours. That's a good
ratio.
That's a good stat. 224 runs just in fours. That's nice.
I've got some other news in world cricket, guys.
Yep. In your old cricket.
Pakistan have lost 3-0 in the ODI series against New Zealand. Yes. They are in disarray as a country. They've beaten England in Test match cricket, and then they've used that to then completely torpedo themselves down into being a laughing stock yet again, which is always fun.
I saw as well that after the game, Rizwan said, we move on to the PSL now, which is one of the biggest tournaments in our country.
In Pakistan.
Yeah, one of. Okay. Nice. Yeah. They're full banter. Right, look, previews. There's some more IPL games coming up. I don't really know why. There are 2 of them on Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, so KKR were supposed to be playing today, but they asked to push it back 2 days because there's something going on in Kolkata, which meant the police were too busy to do the game.
Okay, there you go.
That is the insight. That's on Max on the ground.
Yeah,
I did think it was weird. So we'll do a midweek show probably on Wednesday, but last time I said that it went wrong. So no promises. Mumbai v RCB. Let's talk about the games instead of scheduling. Mumbai v RCB tomorrow. That's a big one. Max, OG clash.
Yeah.
The kind of winners v the losers, I would say, in the history of the IPL. That's how I build that. The winners v losers derby. What's going to happen?
Bumrah's back. So Mumbai all the way.
Ross, any counterpoints to that?
No, the fact that Bumrah is in my fantasy team and hasn't played yet, I kind of need him to play and need him to be brilliant. So I would like them to. I was impressed with KKR last time out. So I think they'd finally kind of got to the point where, actually, we can know what our best team is. We know how to play, etc. So I think this is going to be one of the best games in the IPL this season, actually.
I assume
So-
you
mean
meant
RCB?
Mumbai, not.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why. It's a long day. Yeah, I was really impressed with them last time out. So I want RCB to bounce back and see what happens next. So I'm going to go for an RCB victory.
Mm.
I think this will be there'll definitely be some narrative fallout from this game. RCB 2 wins, 1 loss. It's away to Mumbai. If they win this one, 3 wins, 1 loss. It's a great start to the season. Everyone will start to get super hyped, I think. It basically leaves Mumbai in the Sunrisers kind of life support category for the tournament. On the other hand, if Mumbai win, everyone starts talking about the Mumbai juggernaut again, because that's what happens whenever Mumbai win. And RCB country, that will be RCB nation will be full doom and gloom. I think 2 defeats in a row. Like I can see some major toys going out of some major prams on that one. Really looking forward to it. Probably one of my favourite matchups, I think, Mumbai v RCB. More games. So Tuesday, this is when we get the double header. The police derby, we'll call it that for now. KKR v Lucknow Super Giants. Max, you knew why it had been moved. Do you know who will win?
Well, it's a game that involves Lucknow Super Giants. Therefore, I can confidently say that the other team will win, despite all the evidence that we've seen so far. KKR are a better side on paper. They should beat Lucknow. Everyone should beat this Lucknow side. So I'm just going to go down the lines of probability.
I think that's probably fair.
How can they bat? I just find it amazing, like how they're churning out with some of their players. It's pretty spectacular. Oh, Lucknow.
How can they bat?
Yeah, I just find it amazing. Literally, if you look at the people they've got, like, I don't expect Markram to be getting runs in the IPL. I don't expect Mitch Marsh to be getting runs in the IPL, but they are.
He's a revelation, old Bison, isn't he?
Yeah, and Puran is Puran's ripping things up. Pant's not really hit his straps yet. And then Badoni and Miller are kind of okay, but I've not seen this. And their bowling is not absolutely arse. It's quite significantly bad, but it's not completely awful.
There's some murmurings that Mayank Yadav's back up to about 95%.
So Dr. Ganguly again.
Dr. Ganguly.
Like 83 miles an hour. Like
the fact that they've got Shardul Thakur opening the bowling every single game, it's just
he's doing well.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make sense. This
give him a rest.
It doesn't make sense.
Give the Lord a rest. I don't. Yeah, I mean, like everything tells me that. Lucknow are going to lose, but everything told me that all 4 games and they've won 2 of them. So
maybe Digvesh will. It's the Digvesh versus Chakravarti. That's the story. Who can be the best
apprentice?
Yeah.
Punjab v Chennai. That's the evening or afternoon game. I think this is where we find out whether Punjab are for real. Like I'm prepared to write off Rajasthan Royals and some good Jofra Archer bowling, and they ran into the teeth of the Rajasthan Royals machine. The guys who need to get runs got runs, and the guy who needs to get wickets got wickets, and that's how you lose to Rajasthan. Chennai, they're down. I don't really think about Chennai as like a cornered tiger either. I think they're a bit more of a bully team. They win when they're on top. A good team goes to Chennai or plays Chennai rather now, and I think they beat them. Ross, are Punjab a good team?
I can only think that CSK will realise they'll look themselves in the mirror and be like, "What are we doing?" And when Alex Ferguson said it's Tottenham lads they're
going to see Dr. Tottenham, aren't they? That's
what it kind of feels like. And CSK will inadvertently be like, "Oh, well, we've picked our best 11 again. Oh, and we've absolutely rinsed one of the worst teams historically in the IPL." So I can't look past Stephen Fleming figuring this out for CSK, but Ricky Ponting has done something a little bit different, and Shreyas Iyer, if he continues with his confidence, I don't mind him getting out in the fashion that he got out in. I thought it was hilarious, but it shows a man whose confidence is 100 out of 100, and that's what you've got to be when you're in the IPL. So it's going to be an absolute ding dong.
Max, can Chennai save their season?
Yeah,
You called it absolutely spot on.
Yeah,
against Delhi.
No,
so...
I think we can bet on an old Sam Curran returning to save CSK against his former employer narrative. That's where I'm going to go. I had the same thinking as Ross, really, with the whole Chennai. Yeah, off to play Punjab, being like, right, look, we got to sort this the fuck out, lads. Why we're playing Punjab, for God's sake. That it genuinely feels like that to me, even though that kind of thing doesn't make any sense in a competition where the teams change every year and there's big auctions and you have the opportunity not to be consistently bad, but they've still managed to be consistently bad. So yeah, Chennai will do it, but I don't think it's enough to save their season. I think they're still in dire straits, sadly.
Cool. And then the last game we want to talk about, we've got 1 minute left to do this. Gujarat Titans, Rajasthan Royals, Ross, Rajasthan. They can have a winning record after this game.
Which after the decimation against Sunrisers we weren't expecting. So they're on the up, but I think they've finally settled on their team. If they stop mucking about with it, I think it'll be a pretty good game. But I am fearful that we've not seen the best out of Rashid Khan yet, and there's 1 or 2 games where he does light things up, and this could well be one of them. And then you've got Joss Butler returning against the Pink Boys, and that always typically goes badly. And Max, you mentioned Football Manager before. You know, when it kind of says, "Oh, they've not scored in 25 games," it's always against your team. I sometimes feel like a player returning against their old club always seems to do a little bit better. So, Gujarat
Titans
Titans
just seems to happen in real football, as far as I can tell. As soon as they mention that stat, you just go and put money on it.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be a tough game for Rajasthan Royals. I think Gujarat are currently looking to me as they are the strong contenders for this IPL.
Cool. Should we wrap up then?
Thank you very much for watching. If you go to patreon.com/the cricket pod, we'd very much appreciate you signing up for only $4 a month to keep this show on the road.
Goodbye.